I'm really excited about some things that have finally come together after several years, and I couldn't wait to, record this podcast because I thought I'd share. This is really impromptu. I had a few notes, but I want to share with you a project that I'm doing that, man, I think it's just going to disrupt the entire industry. And I've got some stuff I want to share with you tonight that I think is just going to blow your mind. People don't even remember what you posted on social media a day ago. But these legacy pieces of media continue to grow with time. Patience and discipline and consistency is the only reason things happen in life. It's not because you don't have ups and downs. It's not because you don't have circumstances. It's not because you don't have a grind. If this is all you get or walk away from this episode with, it's that it's never too late to start creating the life you are meant to live, and it's never been simpler to do it. All right, guys, welcome back to the podcast. George Wright III with your daily dose of inspiration, motivation, and education. And I got to tell you, it's been a really long day, and it's late at night in the studio. But I'm really excited about some things that have finally come together after several years, and I couldn't wait to, record this podcast because I thought I'd share. This is really impromptu. I had a few notes, but I want to share with you a project that I'm doing that, man, I think it's just going to disrupt the entire industry. But before I do, let me just give you an update on a couple of things, because I've got a lot of individuals that have been asking me what's been going on. And I've got some stuff I want to share with you tonight that I think is just going to blow your mind. The Daily Mastermind podcast now has about 1,200 episodes. I've launched the Authority Formula podcast with Valiant CEO Magazine and my partners at Authority Magazines. And for those of you that are not familiar, I partnered with the Authority Magazines group and a personal network that have to launch the Authority Media Network company, which is going to be and is already servicing global brands. But it's in response to all the media and PR and things that's been out there recently about my company that I even got asked to co-host the Franklin Planner podcast. So that's been really a great deal as well. It's given me the chance to get in front of some powerful brands and work with one of the longest running, successful, principled companies that I know, founded by Dr. Stephen Covey from 7 Habits. And now we're launching a massive network of magazines and podcasts. So I want to, I don't know, maybe just give you some inside scoop on what's going on with that here tonight. And so I've got a few notes, but let me do this. Let me ask you a question. And follow me here for a couple of quick minutes while I lay a foundation on something that I've been developing over 6 years with 1,200 podcast episodes and 30 years of being in business. Let me ask you a couple of questions. What if I told you that in less than 90 days, you could launch a full multi-platform media company that attracts AI search engines and massively grows your business and positions you as the expert in your field in less than 90 days? And what if I told you that it would generate you thousands of pieces of content, tens of thousands of downloads, and millions of views annually to your podcast, social media channels, magazine, and website? Now, what if I told you that it would only require 1 hour a week of your time and maybe only hire one quality marketing coordinator to manage it? Imagine like how that would explode your business, how it would free up your time and reduce the amount of money you got to put into a marketing budget, and even just create a more amazing lifestyle, because that's the reason we're building a business, right? For those entrepreneurs and business owners out there. Imagine what that would be like to have millions of views and have your own media company in less than 90 days and having one person run it and taking an hour of your time. I'm not prepared to give you the official rollout. I'd get in trouble for doing that. But I'm here to tell you that's a massive reality. And as part of my community, I really wanted to just give you a little insider detail. I don't do this very often because you guys know I'm a perfectionist with things. So I don't usually just go off the rails and talk about stuff. But I'm talking about it because I think it might help you to navigate the current marketplace better if I tell you what I've been up to. And I know it's late at night and I'm going to be doing this. And by the time I release it, I'm sure Mark and Justin, these guys are going to be a little upset with me because everything might not be put together, but it's okay because Let me explain to you what I mean, and let me give you some really strategic and tactical things you can do. So let me give you the background. So my company, Evolution Group, we've secured funding, partners, and some exclusive relationships, a network of media resources, digital tech, and we're going to be rolling out 100 full multimedia companies. These are media companies that have podcast, magazine, private labeled, white labeled. We're going to be rolling 100 of them out by the end of December. And we have all the funding and resources and everything to do it for this group of 100 personal brands. And on top of that, we have a proven strategy. You guys know I've been doing this for 30 years. And as my partners at Authority Magazines, which owns like Valiant CEO magazine, which has over 100,000 online readers. It's got people that are interviewed that magazine get put in the top ranks of Google. We've got Wellness Voice. We've got Wealth Defined, Founder magazine, as well as, about a dozen magazines. And my partners that I have also have exclusive mobile digital tech in a unbelievable suite of CRM tools that will just blow your mind. And in addition to that, we obviously have partnerships with a major podcast hosting company and a network of podcasts. So as many of, obviously, I've been running the Daily Mastermind for about 6 years, and we've got over, I can't remember exactly, but like 1,200 episodes. And I've also gotten this great experience doing the Franklin Planner podcast recently and several others. But all of these resources are now, I've secured partnership with my company. And that's why I launched Authority Media Network, which is a company built on and is basically designed to be one of the largest multi-platform media companies in the world. This is, think Cumulus Podcast Network, iHeartMedia, Condé Nast, and Forbes Media, and all these others, and combine them, because we're the only ones that are going to have magazines, podcasts, social media, technology, marketing agency services, and the ability to fully white label these media companies for our clients and deploy these media companies for major personal brands. That's why I'm so excited about this, because even those other networks that have the power of advertising, they're there to sell you advertising. And we want to build media companies for others. And imagine what it'll be like when I've got 100 by the end of the year in this network. And our goal, our big crazy goal, is to have 1,000 media companies here over the next couple of years. So keep in mind, it's all privately owned. We don't have anything but the best interests of our clients and our partners inside it. So let me tell you who this is for, because our mission is to launch 100 white labeled media companies that include a podcast, magazine, blogs, social media, distribution, all within a network. And as you know, this is something that will create millions of views for our clients, but obviously we can only work with certain companies. And so this is not for everybody, but the principles and strategies, which I'll share with you tonight, will benefit all of you. But we're going to be working with companies that have personal brands. Number one, they got to have a brand, because we're not looking to start a brand from scratch for people. And they've got to be businesses that do revenue in excess of 250 to 500,000. And I know that's a pretty low bar, but they have to have cash flow, because if we're going to accelerate their business and cash flow and leads and transactions, we have to know that they have a model in place already. We just want companies that'll be able to leverage our resources, tech, network, and grow a massive distribution channel along with our partners. Think of it as like a media company mastermind on steroids, and we're going to be deploying all our resources to do it. And so this is not for startup companies, unfortunately, or individuals that are looking for us to build their company and their brand and figure out all their models, although we'll have some strategies for them for that. And these are individuals that will be able to leverage us, and it'll be available. Let me back up, because those strategies and things we'll do at some point, I will make available in our Evolution X Mastermind Academy when we roll that out and expand that in January. But let's just step back for a second, because the thing I'm excited about, as you can tell, I'm really excited about launching these media companies for a select group. But there are some real strategies and tactics and information. And maybe if I share some of those with you, it'll help you give a context of why these media companies are so powerful with authority marketing, and maybe even how you can apply them to your business, even though you may not qualify for what we're trying to do. Because let's be honest, stepping back, the marketplace is crowded. Ad costs are increasing. influencers and social media influencers are gobbling up all the attention. It's really hard to stand out. It's hard. You might be struggling to just try to get attention in the marketplace. And if you add on top of that, that AI is making it more and more difficult to even look like an expert. Well, somebody could start a business tomorrow that you've been doing for 10, 20 years and they sound like an expert. So all these problems are making it hard. And you've heard me talk about this before, and you've been hearing me say the solution is authority marketing. There's trends like podcasts and AI tools and things like that, but you have to become an authority because authority marketing, just to be really clear, it's your ability to position yourself as a thought leader in your market for your products to your customers. You're the go-to person. You're basically a celebrity in your field, meaning you are the most famous person when it comes to what you're trying to accomplish and build in your business. And the reason this is so effective is because authority increases the trust and credibility that people have with you before they even meet you. And this kind of exposure in the marketplace does so many things for you. It increases your conversion rates, your leads, your ability to close and retain customers long term. It obviously increases the longevity. And when people are out there in the marketplace, you're the go-to. They look online and you're the person. So it not only grows your business, but authority marketing starts to attract opportunities. And it really separates you from your competition as opposed to just being out there promoting yourself. Remember, this is something I've been doing for 30 years. I've been building some of the biggest brands in the world. I've done marketing and events for Tony Robbins, Robert Kiyosaki, Donald Trump, T. Harv Eker. You guys know all the big draws and names that are out there, experts in real estate, investing, and education, personal development. Most of the best-selling authors that have been out there have spoken for me. And over time, I've found proven strategies and time-tested principles because they are time-tested and true success principles are lasting. But over the last couple of years, I've consolidated these strategies and tactics into a unique formula for growing authority. And when I combine that up with my partners and the resources and network I have, like literally no one can touch the authority brands that we're creating. They're unstoppable. And that's why you've seen us put huge brands on the cover of our magazines like Grant Cardone and Kathy Ireland and Kevin Harrington from Shark Tank and Donald Trump and many others. In fact, if you look closely, the number one PR agency out there, I'm not going to name them, the owner of that agency, as well as other major branding companies that do personal branding, they come to us to get featured in our authority magazines. It's funny, I saw a webinar the other day with one of the number one PR agencies, and behind him while he's doing his webinar is our magazine. And the reason is because there are strategies that work. There's formulas. In fact, I don't want to make this too long tonight, but I want to share with you the 4-step formula that we use. And so at worst case scenario, you're going to see why and how we're doing this, and maybe this can help you as well. It's basically 4 steps. They're very important. They sound simple, but they're very detailed. Step 1 is strategy. Step 2 is create authority. And then 3 is add technology automations, and then distribution. So strategy, authority, technology, and distribution. Let me break that down for you for just a minute. Most people don't even have a strategy, or they think a strategy is just finding out who's my avatar and where do I want to do my marketing. That's not it. You've got to learn to control the narrative. What do I mean by that? Most of the time people are out doing podcasts and interviews and they're getting asked the most random questions. You've got to control the narrative, and owning your own media allows you to do that. In this step, sure, you need to identify your market, your message, your media, who you're talking to, where they are, but you have to also learn this art of being featured, not just promoting. When you're out promoting a book or on social media, you're talking about yourself and your strategies. When you get featured in a magazine, you get the spotlight put on you, and the difference between speaking and promoting and being featured is huge. It's what creates authority and credibility. We do this through a perfect interview. In our Valiant CEO magazine, as you've heard me talk about, our perfect interview, we make sure that in our interview that people know who you are, what you do, why you're unique and different from the rest. And we ask questions, not just questions that you want to answer, but questions your prospect or your clientele don't think to ask, but they're thinking about, their objections, or maybe even questions that you want them to ask and they don't think about asking. So that's a perfect interview. This is the strategy we talk about. And then you go one step further and you go into authority. That's when you start to create true authority content. And I'm not talking about just social media. I'm talking about legacy content. What do I mean by legacy content? Legacy content is like blogs, podcast, magazine, YouTube videos. They're ones that we're going to get views and over and over and over time. People don't even remember what you posted on social media a day ago. But these legacy pieces of media continue to grow with time, and they have the ability to link to your website and follow backlinks and things like this, stuff we're not going to get into now, but you can really optimize that authority too with SEO and titles and things. So that's after strategy, you create authority, and then we get to technology. See, when you get to technology, most people think of technology as, I've got a cool high level CRM, or I've got a funnel, or I've got these great webinars and masterclasses. And look, all those things are important, but most of the time they're not connected, and most of the time they're not efficient to capitalizing on your authority media. And so what you're not doing is capturing and contacting and collecting names from your media appearances. So technology and automation are the key that converts, and this is the part where technology helps you to convert an hour of your time into a content machine, and then applies technology to contact, capture, and convert leads. Of course, a CRM, QR codes, NFC cards. Imagine being able to monitor who's viewing your stuff through QR codes and stuff like that. Technology allows us to do all this, and I can dig deeper into that another time. But once you have strategy and really good authority content, the automations and technology will make it simple and easy for you to create massive numbers and pieces of content and exposure and get traffic out of it. And then once you do that, the final step is distribution. And distribution is synonymous with marketing, but it's not just paid ads. You've heard many of the experts, including myself, talk about the idea that there's paid traffic, free traffic, traffic you own, traffic you borrow, traffic you pay for. But it's utilizing automatic systems for distribution, like a newsletter, like speaking, like guesting, like networking. This is why our founder and publisher of the magazines put together that 50-page guide, 50 ways, 50 strategies that you can use an interview to create and expand your business and grow traffic, because there are a ton of free traffic sources. One of these 4 steps in this formula is to identify and utilize your free traffic sources. And obviously people that are in our network have this massive network as well, because think about 100 custom white labeled media agencies. That's what I'm so excited about, because paid ads are getting more expensive, but imagine leveraging a white labeled media network empire of traffic, 100 podcasts that all have a guest per week and 5,000 guests and tons and millions of pieces of content going out. Now, just to be clear, because many of you are probably wondering what media company I'm talking about, that's not really the point of what I wanted to share with you tonight, but let me tell you just for what we have set up. A media company is basically a private labeled website, a podcast launched with weekly content, as well as a magazine, fully customized magazine of your own, and then curriculum and content for 12 weeks, social media content and schedule, as well as a newsletter, a full CRM suite, digital mobile tech. We do this. It takes us about 90 days to launch a full media company, because we have it down to a science now, where we can start with strategy, then we can promote and create authority for you through our magazines, and then we move on to build the website where we're launching your podcast and all the assets and syndication for 15, 20 locations for that. And then we end up with, by the way, if you think about it, one interview, and I'm not going to get into it here, but like one interview could be a prospecting and sales tool for you, but multiple interviews get put into blogs and magazines, and they turn into your articles for your magazines, which then can have advertisers and sponsors. We do it all. Like, we launched the whole company in 90 days, and it takes a lot of time and money. This is what we do. Like, we charge $100,000 to $200,000 for our typical clients to launch these companies. And what's just got me unbelievably pumped that I wanted to share with you tonight is, because of these resources and funding and stuff that we've acquired, we're gonna launch these 100 companies, and we're not charging the 100 to 200 grand. They just have to pay for the admin to coordinate the rollout. And people are like, what's the catch? What's in it for you? Think about it for a minute. This means we're charging like a tenth. It's going to cost like a tenth of what it would normally cost just to have a good marketing admin. But we're obviously doing this for a reason. You guys know me, I'm a transparent guy. Think about it for a minute. Will we be able to, my company, be able to leverage 100 media channels influencing millions of people in an audience through this network? Of course, but so will our 100 media partners. And will we be able to secure advertising and sponsorships and guest appearances and guest booking for inside all these podcasts and magazines? Of course we will. And so will our network. They'll have basically a group of ballers, 100 top brands. And if we get celebrities on the cover of Valiant CEO magazine and stuff like we've done, will we be able to put them on other magazines and other media companies? Yeah, but that's a benefit for the people in the network. So it really is a win-win for everyone, so that when we roll out in January our full, powerful media network, we will roll out with a massive network, a super high-end, let's call it mastermind, for example. So I hope you're starting to see the crazy vision that I have coming together. Our goal of launching 100 white labeled master media companies by the end of the year is nothing. It's just a stepping stone in the 1,000 podcasts and magazines and stuff that we're going to be putting out. People have to go through a qualifying process. Obviously, we're not going to work with everybody. It's going to take some serious qualifying to get through it. But it has been a long time coming, and I know it's going to be an extremely heavy lift over the next 3 to 4 months. But I'm sharing it with you for a couple of reasons. I'm excited about it. I want you to imagine learning strategies from the execution of hundreds of super large personal brands and magazines. And second, even the stuff that I've talked about for a while, maybe it's something in these strategies you can use for your company, and maybe it'll expand your vision of what you can do. Because I was listening to a lot of stuff recently. I just recently serial read that Science of Scaling by Dr. Benjamin Hardy. And I tell you, the idea of scaling requires you to set aside your preconceived notions. You can't just double down on the 20% that creates 80% of your results. You've got to scrap the 80%. Make the 20% you're doing that's really productive be your 80% of what you do, and reinvent yourself. And I think sometimes we don't stretch enough. The power of a network, the power of JV partners, relationships. It takes what would maybe be a slow build over time to launch a media company a month or something like this, and puts it in the realm of being able to launch 100 by the end of the year. It's the same type of concepts I had to apply when I grew the last education company from 20 million to 200 million in less than 5-6 years. Now, of course, patience, discipline, and consistency, everybody doesn't see the work behind the scenes. They just see the result. And believe me, they'll see the result. But patience and discipline and consistency is the only reason things happen in life. It's not because you don't have ups and downs. It's not because you don't have circumstances. It's not because you don't have a grind. Those are all things you know about me have happened in business and cycling. But I'm here to tell you something really important. If this is all you get or walk away from this episode with, it's that it's never too late to start creating the life you are meant to live. And it's never been simpler to do it fast and effective. So as I end this episode, I guess maybe I'll do one other thing, and I'll probably get in big trouble for doing this, but if you want to go to, and it might not be done, full disclosure, hopefully by the time this airs, it'll be done. But if you want to, no matter where you're at in business, no matter what you're doing, I want you to go get your authority score. We've created a 10 to 15 question survey that takes you 3 minutes. In less than 3 minutes, I can tell you exactly what your level of authority is, whether you've got authority, whether you don't, where you need to go. And I can tell you exactly what the blueprint is for you to grow your authority. Less than 3 minutes, 10 to 15 questions. Go take the test. It's going to be up at theauthorityscorecard.com. Theauthorityscorecard.com. Now, don't give me a hard time if you get there before it's live, but it will go up, and it will be a work in process, because remember, we're not out doing ads and marketing that. We're working with private clients other than in our magazines and stuff like this. This is all through our private clients. But go check out the Authority Scorecard, because what'll happen is this: as we roll out our vision here for the next 4 months, you'll be able to go and get your score. And if you're not big enough and you can't take advantage of some of the things we're doing in our media launch, you'll get some strategies for what you can do to build your brand. And maybe we can get you featured in the magazine for free, and I'll build you some authority, because that's all automated. But if you do qualify to be one of those 100, you can schedule an appointment and talk with our business driver, our CRO, Justin, or myself. But you got to go through that Authority Scorecard anyway. So go check it out. Maybe it's something that'll give you some strategies that'll help you go to the next level. I can promise you this, no matter what you're doing, when you learn these strategies, it will multiply your efforts. I truly and sincerely mean that you can spend 1 hour a week doing what you love, getting the content was strategic, and turn it into millions of views and millions of impressions over the course of a year. So go check it out. I hope this is something. If anything else, you know what's going on behind the scenes at Evolution Group, as well as the Daily Mastermind and Authority Media Network. But hopefully you've pulled some core pieces of content out of here as well. And if you do me a favor and share this episode or share our podcast, I know it would mean a lot to myself as well as the community. And people are looking for that association and network. So remember, again, never too late to start creating the life that you're meant to live, but you got to take some action. And I appreciate you joining me here late night. I hope this came across with the intent that I had. Have a great night.